Over the last several weeks, we've been in a series called Connected, and we've talked about all sorts of things on the topic of how to get connected and our source of connection and what it takes for us to connect with others and to allow others to connect with us. Talked about what it looks like to connect with God, with each other. We've explored it from various teaching or scripture bases. We've talked about the theology or how God would view connection and how that influences and shapes what we do. But kind of in the spirit of emotionally healthy spirituality and emotionally healthy relationships and emotionally healthy discipleship, which we've spent a lot of time in the last few years exploring, there are things that we personally do, maybe interpersonally would be a better word, we interpersonally do or engage in that allow us or cause us to shrink from connecting or reconnecting with people, especially where there has been an area or a level of hurt or pain associated in the past. Let me give you an example of what that might be. Okay, so this morning I'm getting ready to leave the house, and as I'm getting ready to leave, Joni asks me a question, and it's related to my job, my work as a pastor. But the question she asks, I don't know why she's asking it. And for me, it's incredibly important to know the why. And my immediate response to her was not to answer her question, but to come back at her. And I got to say, I'm not proud of it, but I came back at like a 11 towards her, and she was not aggravated at all, and it was not an aggro question. It was simply asking for some clarification because, in her own words, I would like to help in a couple areas. And as we were talking, I realized that at some point, what I was giving off as far as the vibe and the attitude and the tone was not conducive towards us connecting. As a matter of fact, for a less determined individual, it would actually drive them away. Fortunately, my wife is not a less determined individual. She said, I'm not going to allow how you're responding to keep me from pursuing you and getting an answer to these questions because I want to help you. And so I went in the other room and I assumed that my wife was having the experience she was having and that I was having the experience I was having, and they were on different planets, totally. And so I'm trying to figure out, why do I feel the way that I feel when Joni asked me that question? And so I sat down in my bedroom on my couch, and as I'm kind of kicking around, I was trying to identify what was I feeling, what was running through my head when she asked the question. Because if you just take the actual words to the question, there was nothing in what she said that should have antagonized me, but it did. And so I recognized I experienced fear. I experienced a feeling of being a failure. I experienced a feeling of abandonment. I was reminded of times where I felt alone as a pastor. I just was wrestling through all sorts of junk. And I went back and I asked, Lord, what is this that I'm wrestling through right here? It's keeping me from being able to hear the actual question my wife is asking me, and how I'm responding is something that it just will lead to more antagonism. And what he revealed to me is, years ago, we had a series of conflicts and a series of challenges as we worked very closely together within the context of the church that I had learned, not because she taught it to me, but more the assumptions that I gained were that when Joni starts heading in this direction, it's going to hurt and I will eventually end up by myself. I'm going to talk more about that this coming Sunday on the 6th, Taco Sunday, little Tacos Tijuana commercial. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But I realized that what I had before as my past experience was clouding my ability to connect and to grow with my wife about this area that she wants to engage in and help. Would actually be a benefit to me and to Hillside. And so with all of that, I went back into the bathroom where, she was doing she had these twirly things and she's twirling, and anyway, it made sense at the time. And I just said, I just want you to know that my response to you was not because of you, it was because of me. And I shared a couple of feelings. And the feelings where I felt attacked, I felt abandoned, I felt alone, and I felt distant from you. And I realized that's not how you're coming to me, so I'm going to keep digging until I find out what it is that is the genesis of this, or the exodus of this, so that I can move forward and actually engage with you and allow you and me to partner together. And so I think there was a great point of starting connection. There's a little bit of potential for healing about things that have happened before, but there's also some self-awareness that sometimes we, Louie, you, in your situations could respond to a present situation based upon something you've experienced before, and as a result, blow up the current situation, even though it doesn't have all the TNT and gasoline and fire starter business that the original situation had. But your entire system, body, soul, mind, and spirit, thinks it does. And it is counterproductive to us being able to grow and to move forward in our relationship with Jesus. That's why one of the most important parts of connecting is allowing God to work in me, so I'm not going forward with damaged or broken connectors, or I'm immediately assuming the worst about others, but that I can even do the kind of hard work necessary to discover what's going on in here and in here, so that I can clear the air here, ask for forgiveness, and then re-engage, and to see hopefully good connections built, because that affects not just me and my wife, it affects our church family, and it is something that affects all of us. So hopefully that's helpful. More information on that is coming on Sunday. And so looking forward to seeing you. God bless you. Have a great rest of your day.